Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I have the video that I promised you using the wonderful Tulips Glimmer hot foil set. This is from the recent release called the 4-Petal Collection. And I was waiting for the coordinating stencil. I just had to have this. They sent me the Glimmer plate, but I had to go ahead and order the stencil to go with it. So here's the gorgeous plate. It has a die that cuts along the edges of the tulips, and then it has a sentiment that says, "Have a wonderful day," and a die that cuts the sentiment out as well. And then here is the layering stencil. I just got this in the mail today when I was filming this video. There are 6 stencils in this set, and they are numbered. It's kind of hard to see the numbers, but they're at the bottom. And of course, you don't have to do them in order, I found. This makes for some really fast coloring of the tulips, but I found that it puts the color down in a really interesting pattern. I'll show you this in just a minute, but let's start off by doing some glimmer hot foiling. I'm going to use a piece of light pink cardstock. This one's called Pink Sand, and some fuchsia foil. I'm using the hinge method, so I'm just going to lift up the plate on the hinge, slide the foil under it, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. I'll use this excess piece to foil the sentiment. And since I'm going to be cutting out these tulips, I'm just going to use the corner of the pink cardstock there to foil the sentiment. I'll just cut this down a little bit for the sentiment. And I have my machine heating up, and it will be ready to go once I have all of my plates in place. I like to tape my plates down really well so that they don't shift when I run them through my Platinum 6. Let's go ahead and put this on the Glimmer hot foil machine. Put the plates on top and let that heat up. Okay, so here it is all done. This is the fun part where you get to see how the foiling turned out, and it turned out just perfectly. There's the sentiment, and you can reuse the tape several times. And here are the tulips. Let me show you a close-up look at these gorgeous flowers. This makes for some really stunning greeting cards to send out to people. I'm also going to glimmer a couple of white panels. This is a hammer mill paper that I'm using, and it's nice and smooth for foiling. So here is the silver panel. And next we'll foil up some gold tulips. This is just a really soft gold. The panel size I'm using is about 6 by 5. I wanted it to be a little bit larger so that it would be easy to stencil over these panels. There's the sentiment, and here are the gold tulips. Just love how it catches the light. It's so pretty. Here are all 3 of the panels, and I'm going to stencil the silver panel for you. So let's tape down the first stencil. And they're very easy to line up. They also have 4 dots, 1 on each corner, so that you can go over it with your ink, and it'll make it that much easier to line up the second stencil with the 4 dots. I'm using some pinks on this panel. I love it when glimmer plates or stamps have coordinating stencils. They're so much fun to play with. So I'm going to put on a little bit of music while I do my stenciling, and I'll catch up with you at the end of my stenciling. Here is the panel all done. Let me give you a close-up look at this. I love how these stencils were drawn out because it just helps to add so much dimension to the card. Now I can go ahead and cut out the sentiment as well as the edge of these tulips, and it leaves a border around them. I'll take this off camera and run it through my Platinum 6 machine. And then here is the sentiment. I love how it cuts around it. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to peel the dies off, and I'll pull out my paper trimmer to cut this out. And it's very easy to cut out. I'm just using my wire guide to go right along the edge of the tulips and then along the bottom of the tulips. And then this is ready to put on a card front. So I'm using a pad of paper from a previous Spellbinders card kit. I'll link it in the description box if it's still available, but it's called Always Remember. I really liked the soft watercolor looking gray panel, so I'll go ahead and attach that to the white card base. And then I added some foam strips behind the tulips just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I can attach it to the corner. I'm being very careful to get it on straight because once this is down, it is down. So these 3 cards that I'm creating for you today have very simple designs and they're all the same. But I wanted to show you the different looks you can get from using different cardstocks, and also by adding a little bit of stenciling to the background. I'm going to use some fashion silver embellishments around the tulips and the sentiment. I love the grays and the pinks and the silver on this card. Let's put one more embellishment at the bottom. And let me give you a close-up look at the first card. The Have a Wonderful Day sentiment will work great for a birthday or any occasion. These will be fun to send out for some springtime birthdays, and I have a few people in mind for that. Here is card number 2 that I used the soft gold foil on. I put some beeswax yellow cardstock behind the tulips and used a decorative edge die. It looks kind of like a pretty lattice, so I love that look. Card number 3 is the pink cardstock foiling, and I love how the inks look on that pink sand cardstock. Then I used the stencil from the Wonderful Tulips stencil set to create a soft background behind the tulips. This is definitely going down as one of my favorite glimmer plates of the year. I love tulips anyway, and then to be able to glimmer them like this, so stunning. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed these card projects, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Take care, my crafty friends. Bye.